We'll give it a couple minutes to see if anybody comes in. I don't know if they will or not, but we'll give it a couple of minutes. Or a minute, because I'm still 2 minutes early, so hope y'all are doing okay. I hope. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and start because it is 6 o'clock. So we're going to get into it as much as we can anyway. So first off, we do have some new subscribers. We are up to, I think it's 333 subscribers, assuming we haven't gone up. Thank you, whoever you are. I really appreciate that. Also, just so you are aware, I am in the process of writing a book, getting it edited and everything. So it's influencing the way that I get stuff out to you. So I apologize for not getting stuff posted as I normally do. Also, yeah, that applies for both channels. Secondly, we are going to be doing a Q&A on the 5th of January. If you have questions that you want to know about me or about nature, you can put those in the comments section to this live or any other lives from now until then, and also any videos that are posted between now and then. Those questions will be answered during the live. Okay? I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. So for this week, or for today, we are talking about Arctic conditions within the ecosystem and some of the animals, and we're also going to be talking about an Arctic, or next Tuesday, we're covering Antarctic conditions and the life there. And we're also going to be doing Friday, we're going to be doing a game. Your kids are invited to play this one along with anybody else that comes in. We're going to be doing a Guess the Ecosystem with the animals. If your kids are studying that in school, this might be a good time to sort of review that stuff. And that one's going to be fun. So hopefully you all will like it. We're also going to be doing a history of Christmas traditions, as well as a history of New Year Eve traditions. So if you have something that you want me to share or to talk about, put that in the comments. So with that, let's get into today's live, shall we? Let me just make sure I've covered everything. I believe so. So yeah, let's talk about today's topic. So we are dealing with the Arctic, both the high and the low Arctic, but mostly the high, I believe. So the Arctic or the tundra or Arctic tundra extends across the northern sections of North America, Europe, Asia, yeah, and everything in between. You can also find tundra conditions on mountains. We are not covering that in today's live. So let's talk about temperature first off, because that's a big one. So temperatures in the Arctic can plunge to minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit in the winter. In the summer, temperatures can rise to 54 degrees at their warmest, but that can vary depending upon where you're at. Temperatures can be anywhere from 37 degrees to 35 degrees in the summer, or 54 degrees in the summer. Yearly precipitation in the Arctic, and by that I mean tundra Arctic, is between 50 to 60. Oh, no. Sorry, I was reading the wrong line. Ignore that. Yearly precipitation amounts can equal to 6 to 10 inches a year total. That's going to include snow and melting snow and rain. More on the rain later. Now, the summer in the Arctic is fairly short. It's only 50 to 60 days long. Animals and plants have to deal with a brief summer. So, those animals that come up on migration, they do so knowing that they have this short summer. And it's just not the birds that have to deal with this. All life in the Arctic has to deal with a short summer. I gotta stop saying Winter, on the other hand, can last 9 months in the Arctic, but it also comes with other challenges as well. Because from early October to early March, there is complete darkness. Pretty much. So then, by early. So then in the summer, the reverse happens. And they have almost constant sun. It never really sets. Now let's talk about water temperature. I don't know what it is like during the winter, but water temperatures are around 28 degrees Fahrenheit, depending upon where you are. Now, keep in mind that in waters colder than 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius, you have under 15 to 46 minutes of exposure in that water to survive. However, you could go unconscious in under 15 minutes. So, unconscious versus the other. I don't know. That being said, you could also. Never mind. There is something called permafrost in the Arctic, and if you don't know what that is, it is basically frozen soil. In the summer, only the top few inches of the soil actually thaws, and this is going to permit some plants to grow in the Arctic, but not all of them. So, I need to readjust how I'm sitting, guys. Give me a quick second. Because I'm uncomfortable. And I feel like you guys can never see me. Okay, that's better. So, permafrost, like I said, is basically frozen soil. If you live in the Midwest and we have a cold winter, you know how hard the ground can be if you tried to dig. Only about 19 inches of soil actually thaws during the summer. There is another additional 1,968 feet of soil that is frozen solid and remains frozen year long. Now, you might be thinking, does it rain in the Arctic? Absolutely, it rains. And thanks in part to the permafrost and the dips in the valley and the land, they actually get ponds. Now, those ponds are going to come in handy for some of the Arctic animals that we're going to be talking about in the next section. Now, you might be surprised about some of the animals that I'm going to be discussing, and we're not going to be talking about adaptations today. That was in a video last week. Or in a live last week, I'm not sure which. But these animals live in the Arctic. Now, they may not be found in all areas of the Arctic because remember, the Arctic includes North America, Europe, and Asia. So, a big chunk of the earth. However, let's get into these animals. Chipmunks, muskrats, beavers, Arctic hares, snowshoe hares, reindeer or caribou, depending upon where you live. Because for those of you that live in the United States, reindeer is a European name. Caribou is a North American thing. Moose or elk, as it's known in Europe, also live in the Arctic. Now, some of these animals are going to be living in what we call the low Arctic, meaning it's lower in altitude. I think it's altitude. No, latitude. Or is it longitude? I don't know. But the further north, the further south that you go within the Arctic, you may see different animals. Dow sheep. Dow sheep looks a lot like a Rocky, not a Rocky Mountain goat, a bighorn sheep. It has the horns that sort of coil. There's also Eurasian lynx and Canadian lynx, gray wolf, Arctic wolf, coyote, red fox, Arctic fox, wolverines, and sea otters all live within the Arctic. And remember, high Arctic, low Arctic for some of these animals. There are other mammals that do live in the Arctic, like the polar bear and the muskox, Arctic fox, okay, and some rodents and other things. But there are also aquatic mammals like the sea otter. There's also the river otter, that is the North American otter, and the Eurasian water otter, river otter. Oops, sorry. There are also a ton of birds in the Arctic. Now, most of these birds are summer visitors, spring visitors. They come up, have their babies mature, and everybody flies away because they're out by winter. You hope. Birds, including but not limited to Canadian geese, tons of other geese, swans, ducks, seabirds, shorebirds, cranes, including sandhill cranes, and numerous other birds. There are also all kinds of birds of prey, including, but not limited to, bald eagle, golden eagle, osprey, gyrfalcons, peregrine falcons. Now, this is not the end of them. There are also, I think, two different kinds of sea eagles that live in the Arctic. There are also owls, and not just snowy owls either. Keep in mind, again, that there is low Arctic and high Arctic. Among other birds that live in this Arctic area includes everybody's favorite birds, the puffins. Well, maybe not everybody's, but a lot of people. Other animals that you're going to find living in the Arctic, believe it or not, there are frogs and even a lizard. You'll also find mosquitoes, botflies, bumblebees, butterflies, and even moths that live in the Arctic. And of course, there are plants of all different sizes. Mostly, though, once you get into the high Arctic, the plants are small. But in some places in the Arctic, you're also going to find trees. So let me just refresh a little bit on the Arctic because I want you guys to understand the difference between Arctic and Antarctica. Before I do that, though, let me address another, I think, misconception. There are birds that look like penguins that live in the Arctic. However, despite all of the cartoons and the shows about Christmas that show penguins living in the North Pole, penguins only live basically in the southern hemisphere. And some of them do live around the Antarctic. Not in any way, shape, or form do penguins live in the Arctic. Okay, with that said, so I've mentioned twice now that the Arctic includes areas within North America, Europe, and Asia. Now, some of what we consider the Arctic Circle is not land, it's ice and ocean. You'll find Arctic conditions also on mountains. However, we're not covering that. Average temperature during the winter can drop to minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit. In the summer, that temperature can rise to as high as 37 degrees Fahrenheit to 54 degrees Fahrenheit. Yearly precipitation. Now, this includes rain and also snow. So remember I said that we would mention an animal that really depends on that rain? That would be the mosquitoes. Yes, there are mosquitoes that live in the Arctic, and they are a pest. Other important things are during early October through early March, it is basically lights out. It's basically like nighttime. And then comes summer. Exactly when is that? I gotta find it because my eyes lose things. So from early March, I can't find my notes. That's just typical. But basically, once summertime comes, and summer is short in the Arctic, it's forever light for a few months. It basically never sets in the Arctic once winter comes. So winter is about 9 months and comes with it a whole bunch of challenges. Summer, on the other hand, is only 50 to 60 days. So, not a long time. Not that summer is long anywhere, but it's very short in the Arctic. The water in the Arctic, we're going to use an average of 32 degrees Fahrenheit, but I feel like in some places it can be higher or lower. Maybe not too much higher than 32 degrees, but could be lower. To put that into perspective, if you were to fall into that water, you would have anywhere from 15 to 46 minutes of possible survival. The only problem with that is, and this is a big problem, is that you would go unconscious before you would potentially die. And you would go unconscious in under 15 minutes in that water. So permafrost again is about 1,968 feet of frozen soil, and the soil itself that is actually alive, and what I mean by alive is that organisms can use it, is only about 19 inches thick. Okay, I have only been live for about 21 minutes, but I want to talk about Instagram Live. After this, on my Instagram channel at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time on Fridays, I am going live on my Instagram account. I think I have it posted on my community page for this channel, so check it out. Yeah. So now the floor is open for your questions on the Arctic because I talk too much. So if you have questions about the Arctic or Arctic wildlife, now is your chance to say, hey, nature guy, what's up with this? And I will do my best to answer it because that's how I like to do things. What was the UGG about? By the way, the question for the poll this week, is your tree up yet? Mine, not up yet. I don't even know if I can participate. I can't participate in it, but you can for today. And if you're viewing this later and you celebrate Christmas, yeah, spring and fall would be really short. I feel like it probably goes pretty quickly into winter and pretty quickly into fall. So spring and fall might be something that blends together. But I don't want to just run my mouth on that. We are going to get the answers. Does the Arctic experience winter?
According to National Snow and Ice Data Center,
no.
The weather is drier
Quiet,
with less
quiet,
snow in the winter
quiet.
and sunny summer days.
Does the there are basically only 2 seasons, Carol. And that would be summer, which is only about 3 months, and basically winter. Like I said, winter is 9 months of boringness. I shouldn't say that. It is probably not boring, but it's very cold. And spring and autumn are just a few weeks each, so not very long. Here, where I live, I think fall is about what, 2, 3 months? I think something like that. But yeah, up there, they really don't have a winter, or they really don't have a spring and fall. It's very brief, which is a shame. But yes, I knew that they had bees. Because I've actually seen nature shows where they show the bumblebees. Bumblebees are fuzzy, and that fuzziness actually helps them be a little bit warmer than traditional bees. And that's probably why you will see bumblebees. Aurora borealis. Yes. Aurora borealis is in the Arctic. And I think there's a different aura in Antarctica. Yes. So that one is a yes. For Instagram chat today, we're going to be doing, a tag. So for those of you that join it, that know me in person, you'll be able to see how much you know me, how well you know me, by participating in chat. I believe it. Sorry about that. Believe something to do with radiation or particles that come through the atmosphere. Guys, for those of you who might be wondering, I'm more of what you call a naturalist. So some of the other stuff that I cover on my channel, I actually have to do research on. Yes, the auroras, no matter if it's borealis or the one that's in the other pole, is caused by charged particles. So basically, protons and electrons up in the upper atmosphere. Basically, what they do is you have gases up in that atmosphere, and these are our protons, and these are the gases. So basically, what happens is they collide. The protons and electrons and the gases collide. And when they collide, they produce flashes that fill the sky with light. And it's those billions upon billions of flashes that cause the auroras to dance. So that is what causes the aurora borealis. And I think I knew that, but I got told that I guessed too much on lives, so I'm making sure that I look stuff up, even if I have to do it during a live. So yes. So the Arctic animals really have to be adapted, and the plants as well have to be adapted for that brief summer, Because, like I said, they really don't have a fall and they really don't have a spring. So animals have a lot to do in that brief time. Birds have to mate, lay their eggs, they have to keep their babies alive. Same thing with mammals. They have to give birth, um, raise their young, get all that stuff done before winter hits. Because once winter hits, it's probably too late. So, yeah, a lot to take in when it comes to living in other areas. Now, I want to stress that there are a ton of other animals that live up in the Arctic. There's a lot of fish, um, not just freshwater fish, but also saltwater fish. There are whales. Some of those whales feed on plankton, while others of those whales feed on other whales and other animals as well. There's also walrus and a bunch of seals. That's right, there are seals that live in both the Arctic and the Antarctic. Not all animals do hibernate. Polar bears actually do not hibernate. Some of your rodents do. I would assume frogs that live up in the Arctic have to hibernate. But yes, small mammals probably hibernate. Birds probably, I shouldn't say probably, I would assume that birds migrate. And they may not come all the way south. They may stay within areas of the Arctic, but not the high Arctic. Some animals may move into areas that are considered taiga, so it's more forest. Animals like the Arctic ground squirrel, they do hibernate, and they spend all summer eating, getting fat. One of the issues we have going on right now is the pack ice. Not is it called pack ice? I think it's called pack ice. Up in the Arctic, is shrinking, and the polar bears, depend on that pack ice because that's where they do a lot of their hunting. So that is an issue that I'm sure scientists are watching very closely. I don't believe that Arctic foxes hibernate. Oh. Yeah, unfortunately, it is. The oceans are getting warmer, the earth is getting warmer. Some of that is humans causing the issue. Some of that could be natural. But I believe I believe in my heart that a lot of issues are being made faster because of humans. Like extinction rates. Animals go extinct over time, but I also believe that humans have impacted the world enough that that things are shifting and not necessarily in our favor. Warmer climates mean larger hurricanes. It means hotter places all over the globe. I read where this has been one of the hotter years on record in some areas. I don't think we were super hot this year, but we've also been under the influence of El Nino, so that does play a role. If I'm yawning this much, what am I going to be like when I go live on Instagram? My gosh. I should have had a nap. But instead, I was working. I did explain to everybody that I've been busy with writing and everything. It also is going to impact the Midwest and other areas as well with tornadoes. So there's that. Oh, I thought you were taking a nap. I should have had a nap. I ate between now and then. So if I've forgotten stuff, that's why. Huh. Just again to go over the next little bit. Tuesday's live is Antarctica, so it's going to be like this live, only it's going to be Antarctica. So ecosystems as well as talking about animals that live down there. And I think we're going to be talking about some surprises with you on that one. We're going to have 2 game days coming up. One of them is going to be Guess the Ecosystem, where I give you an animal and you give me the ecosystem. And then, well, that'll be a Friday. So that Tuesday is going to be game day. So also, and it's going to be does the animal hibernate or not? So that might be interesting because I don't have a lot of animals. Anyway, we'll just play it by ear on that one. After that, the 22nd of December, which I think is the Friday before Christmas, we are going to be doing a really awesome live. We're going to be doing the history of Christmas traditions. We're going to be talking about things like, why do we hang mistletoe? Why do we have Christmas trees? Why do we decorate our trees? Why, all of these different things. Why do we sing the Boar's Head Carol? I mean, come on. And that was not a reference to Carol that's on live right now, but and then we're going to be doing the history of New Year's Eve traditions. I feel like that one's going to be a little bit more I'm going to need your help on that one because I really don't celebrate New Year's. And then on New Year's Eve, or not New Year's Eve, but the day after New Year's, that's the first day, because I'm not doing a live on the same day that I'm watching the Rose Bowl parade. Not doing it. That is sacred. The Rose Bowl parade is sacred. In my house, at least with me anyway. And so that'll be New Year's, and we're just getting together and we're just chatting, having a crazy chat, talking about anything and everything under the sun. And then on the 5th of January, we are going to be we're going to be doing a Q&A where you get to ask me questions and I get to answer them. I may or may not. I'm just going to say this now. Spicy questions are not going to be answered. You can post them, and I will read the question, but I'm not answering spicy questions. If it's super spicy, I'm not getting in trouble. So that is what's coming up. Yeah, I don't watch football. I just watch the parade. And I always have, except for a few times when they've canceled it, but hopefully my TV will work for that. What else am I forgetting? I don't feel like I need to go through the whole entire month of January, which is all the way planned out, by the way. We're also going to be, we did in November, we did How Not to Be Stupid in Yellowstone Park. We are going to be doing How Not to Be Stupid around wild animals. We're also going to be talking about, is it venomous or poisonous? That's going to be a guessing game where you get to guess if what you're looking at is venomous or poisonous. And then the week after that, you get to stump me. You get to bring me nature questions and see if you can stump me. And then the week after, the day after, or the next live after that, we are chatting, just you and me talking like we do on Instagram. If you haven't joined us for that, you're missing out. Then, because it's a different scenery, and we are more more mellow, if that's a word. And then the week after that, you're going to rate my animal drawings that I use in some of my videos. And not just the animals, but some of the plants too. And then the week after that, guys, come on, we're going to be talking about random gross body facts. Some of them are going to be gross. Like, how much snot does the body produce? Do we really have living things living in our eyebrows? Stuff like that. How much does the average person fart during a day? I mean, this is stuff that people want to know, right? I guess. So we're going to be talking about that. As well as other stuff, because I'm a guy and guys can be gross. So come on. Tune in for that. I don't know if that's a Friday or a Tuesday. I'm thinking it's a Friday. And yes, I will be planning February's lives probably sometime in January. Probably. Coming up this week, we are doing the history of barley, which is actually not a very long video, but an interesting video. We're going to be talking about cattails. How not every cattail that you see in the United States is a native. And we're also going to be talking about its uses, because believe it or not, that plant is a literal grocery store growing in a swamp or wherever they grow. We're going to be doing, I forget, we're going to be doing other stuff too. We're going to be doing, for kids, we are actually going to have a video that is for kids. And it's going to be, I think it's what makes an animal an animal. And there are characteristics that are just that only animals have. And that's what we're going to be talking about, because kids need to know that for school. It's not going to be very deep. Although it can be deep, but it's going to be lighter. We might also do that for live, but probably not. Don't expect that. At some point, and we also have a new animal that we're going to be covering on the other channel. I have yet to finish up the frilled lizard. So, for those of you who are watching videos, I do apologize for not having everything up. Hello, Roland. How are you? Glad to see you. Feel free to participate in the poll if you celebrate Christmas, and if you don't, that's okay. We do not hate on this. Tired and drunk. That's a interesting combination. I don't know because I've never been drunk, but I would assume so. So we are actually winding down the live. But if you have questions about the Arctic and its animals, you can ask those, and I will do my best to answer them. Kind of have a Q&A planned for January 5th. Hopefully by then, everybody's hangovers have gone away and everybody will be able to think clearly. So that is what's going on. I am also going live. Do I need to say this again? Yes, I need to. I'm going live on my Instagram account at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. So be looking for that. And if you've missed this video, or if you missed this live and you want to check it out, do so. And while you're at it, give me a like, because today I am wearing the penguin. Literally wearing. I should have wore this on. I should wear this Tuesday when I go live, because literally I almost fell. I'm wearing the penguin. Probably shouldn't show that because it's probably copyrighted. So, Roland, I'm assuming that you partied today. Maybe. Wow, it's not going to type. I'm going to a party on Saturday, but there won't be booze. At least I hope not. Right, Carol? That would be really bad. So yeah, lots of cool stuff happening. By January, I should have a book up. I should have 2 books up. And the good news is I found out that maybe I might have chapter 2 of the vampire story that is currently on Amazon in the video. Anyway, it's 1 chapter is up already. Chapter 2 will be up probably, I'm hoping, by Wednesday. Wednesday or Thursday, I'm thinking. But yeah. So those are kind of cool things. I lost somebody. Who did I lose? Oh man. And only 1 like? That stinks. Okay. I am stopping this now because I need a drink. Carol, give me 10 minutes. And I will be back for Instagram live, but in a different place. I'm not going to do it here. Remember to always keep learning, to never stop giving up. Don't give up on yourself. And remember, love your neighbors, and I will see you on Tuesday at noon Central Standard Time. Love y'all and good night. I forgot how to end stream.